Hey! Is the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.
Feels like it's time.
Fair enough.
BBN Jack Fruits. What's up, party people? I'm trying to not yell like I usually do. Matter of fact, I need to turn down the because I want to be as enthusiastic as possible. So let me see if I could turn down the sensitivity on the mic real quick, because I know I'll be sounding real loud to y'all. But and we got the wrong mic on. Hold on. Boom. Let's go. All of the things. All right, there we go. That's a little bit better. All right, so we got a couple of things to talk about today. The first thing I want to say is this. If you have seen the Kamala Harris interview and you would like to speak on it, let me know. I want to have a couple of people come up, at least one, that might want to speak on the Kamala Harris interview, especially if you're a supporter. And not a supporter of Kamala Harris. And not because I want to like try to embarrass anybody or anything like that. I sincerely want to know, I believe that there are a lot of people that are going to vote for Kamala Harris because they actually believe that that's the best thing for America. I would like to have a better understanding of their viewpoint, because just saying you're going to vote for her because she's black or because she's a woman, that kind of goes against the idea that the president is supposed to be for all people. That's one. Two, the fact that she doesn't actually have any policy, which we will discuss. Maybe I don't know her policy. Maybe the people who, maybe the more informed individuals that follow her might have a better understanding about what her policy is. I just would love to discuss it. I don't understand what her policies are, other than she's now saying literally the opposite of what she's been saying for like the last 15, 20 years. Now she's saying the opposite. And so I would like to know what a policy is. But before we even get to any of that, I just want to just say something real quick. So I was contacted by a juror that was on Alpo's jury. I had a conversation with the individual. I don't think they're going to give me an actual live video for y'all guys to listen to. I'm going to try, just so we can be clear. There's ways for us to do it without them being outed. There's a fear. The individual is a family person. And there is a tangible fear that by them doing an interview speaking about the situation, that they might call on for something negative to happen to them or their family. So with that being said, I'm not going to speak no further on it. I might talk about some of the things in which we spoke about, but I don't want to tell you who the individual was. I don't even want to lean to whether it was a woman or a man. I don't really want to, I want to keep my anonymous, and I don't want to say informants, but if you want to be anonymous, we keep you anonymous over here, as long as you ain't over here serving us bullshit. Because once you serve us bullshit, your anonymity goes through the window, fam. Not recently, but a while back, when we was covering a big case, I had somebody come and they wanted to say something about one of the people that was involved in the case, and it was an extremely slanderous, if it was incorrect, if at the very least. And I gave them a warning. And I said, if I talk about this on the show, I got to get an interview from somebody that is known to be in the situation that could weigh in on it. At first, I think they thought I was playing, but eventually they came around. It worked out and benefited them, just so we could be clear, as far as I can tell, for the most part. It worked out and it benefited them. So they didn't get hurt in any manner. Anyway, let's get to this whole Kamala interview. First thing I want to say is this. We got a question up. Please, could you please weigh in on the question? So far, 8 people voted. It says, did Kamala look like she might have had an hangover? 50% of the people said yes. Well, now it changed. 44% of the people said yes. 44% of the people said no. And 11% of the people said they just wanted to see the results. So 4 yes, 4 no, and 1 wanted to see the results, just so we could be clear. So I want to say something real quick, and I want to be clear on this, because I think that when people might hear you come out and say you're not a fan of Kamala Harris, you don't agree with her politics, I think a lot of the times what the Democrats try to do is say, then you're misogynist, then you're racist. You know, if you're a man, you hate women. If you're black, if you're a black man, you hate black women. If you're a white man, then you're a racist. If you're white at all, you're a racist. And if you're a black woman, then you're a traitor. So if the way that they want to get a president elected is by shaming people into vote, I think that we might as already just start sending Trump to the inauguration ceremony, because you're not going to be able to gaslight more people in America than that's going to be able to see the bullshit. You're not going to be able to gaslight that many people. I just don't think that they're going to be able to gaslight 70 million people, 75 million people. I just don't think they're going to be able to gaslight that many people. And just so we could be clear, if you see her, Kamala Harris's rallies, you know, she be having rallies with it's like 100 people. You're the president of the United States. If you pull up to go to McDonald's, 100 people should pull up. Tell me where the lie's at. If you are the president of the United States, or even the vice president of the United States, or even a candidate for the president of the United States, and you just show up to a hot dog stand, 100 people are going to show up, fam. So if you are any of those things and you say, I'm going to be at this place, we're going to have a meeting, we're going to do all of the talking, and 100 people show up, that's bananas. That's 1. 2, I keep seeing online where people are speaking about how Trump keeps talking about his crowd. There's a reason for that. How do you think they stole the last election? Every time Joe Biden went out, they talked about how big his crowds were. Trump back then was saying, I'm pulling bigger crowds than this guy. Why isn't the press covering it? So this time, he wants to make sure everybody knows and can see the support that he's getting from the American populace. And therefore, by doing that and showing his support and us being able to tangibly see the lack of support for Kamala Harris, it's going to be harder for them to say Kamala Harris got the most votes ever as a president. Also, this is the number one reason, just so we can be clear, why I've always been skeptical about whether Trump lost the election or not. How does Biden get more votes than Obama? I'll wait. Biden didn't get 80 million votes or whatever it was that Biden got. How did he get so many votes? He got more votes than people that are alive that voted. And that's a proof. That's actually a fact. Go look at the individual states that have been doing their investigations and been finding out that there were people that were dead that voted somehow. And then I think Georgia had something like almost 120,000 people that voted twice, or their names were down for 2 votes. So I'm watching the Kamala Harris interview. First of all, I want to say 18 minutes. Fam, I just gave an interview to a juror at the Alpo, from the Alpo trial. And I thought it was a short interview, and we was on the phone for about an hour and 10 minutes. About an hour, give or take. An 18-minute interview? You want to know how you get an 18-minute interview? Because it's scripted. That's how you get an 18-minute interview. We have allotted time. So we have to make sure that we fill that time spot. And then after we fill that time spot, we getting up out of here. So scripted. That's how you do that. I do interviews. Now I've been interviewed. There's really no way to tell how long an interview is going to last. You understand? You don't know. You don't know what kind of questions, pardon me, you don't know what kind of answers the interviewer is going to give. You don't know how long it's going to take for them to answer the question. You don't know what questions they might or answers they might give that you might have now on the spot, sort of a follow-up question to. There's no way to tell how long an interview is going to be. How is her interview only 18 minutes? She's the president of the United States. She's trying to be the president of the United States. She's the current vice president of the United States. She goes to do an interview. The interview's under 20 minutes. So she doesn't think that her time is, pardon me, she thinks her time is too valuable to give to the American people. She doesn't think the American people is worth her time. There was during the interview, they asked the question. The first question I'm going to go over that they asked that I want to respond back to is this one. During the interview, a question was asked. They said, so Trump is saying that now all of a sudden you're black, basically. You weren't black before. Now you're black. You're all of the blacks. Now you're talking about moving to Harlem. Everywhere you go, you got some. Everywhere you go, you wear Timberlands. Yo, I swear. I swear, she shows up to the debate in some fucking buns. Wouldn't that be wild if she shows up to the debate in some fucking Timbs and Trump shows up in some black Air Force Ones? Yeah. Oh man, hold on. So they ask her, so Trump said, basically you weren't black before, but now you're black. How do you explain that? And she was like, next question. Every single black person that has defended her on that point should be upset. She's played every last one of you as a fool. While y'all out here defending her, she was asked the question that y'all would need insight on in order to be able to better defend her when y'all talking to MAGA, right? Right? They ask her the question and it's a softball. You see, the way that you ask a question is going to give the question a certain energy. So they gave her softball questions the whole day, and then they lobbed another softball. Do I know the way she should have answered? No, I have no idea, just so we can be clear, because what Trump said is correct. And basically, you are, doing the same thing that white chick did when she was like, I'm black, y'all. Remember the white chick? I forget her name. Hold on. Let me get her name. White chick that used to run the NAACP in Seattle that got outed. Rachel, I'm gonna type a name. I don't know how to say that. Oh man, these people. This is basically This lady. Did I spell that right? Yeah. So that lady, let me put it up on the screen. Y'all remember this lady? Yeah, that lady. So there's no actual way for her to defend this. Y'all do know that, right? There's no actual way for her to defend this. This isn't a defendable position. All throughout your career as a politician, you have been basically telling people about how you're Asian. For everybody that don't know, Indian people from India, they're Asian. So you have been telling people that you're Asian, right? You have been doing shit for the Asian community. First of all, clap it up. Because that is the community that you are actually a part of. And I mean, I'm very supportive of people who support their people. Remember, we've had conversations over here, and I said I don't have a problem with white people, wanting white people to win. I don't have no issue with that. I think it's wild that nowadays white people have to be like, we gotta hope all of the whites lose. I think that's crazy. Like, I think that's bananas. And we have people who aren't white that really think that white people are always supposed to be against other white people, because if they're not, they're racist, apparently. I think that's bananas. I think that when Israel is doing whatever Israel is doing in the defense or in the belief that they're defending their nation, I'm like, you know what? Makes sense to me. How could I be against that? Whenever I see Muslims doing things, and I'm not talking about terrorism, just so we can be clear, I'm 100% against terrorism. I'm 100% against the attacking of innocent people, 100%. So I'm not talking about terrorism from either side of any manner. But when I see them speaking up in defense of their own people, I'm like, makes sense. I'm not talking about when their people are doing bullshit either. I'm talking about when they're just trying to be alive and live. You know what? It makes sense. So on that same note, when I see Kamala Harris do things for the Asian community, shout out to that shit. Didn't they, as soon as Biden got elected, didn't they sign like an Asian hate bill? They had all of those fake Asian attacks that we don't hear about anymore. Everybody forgets about that. Remember when Biden, hold on, let me just address this real quick. Remember when Biden first got elected, and then when he first got elected, all we saw in the streets of America was Asians being attacked. It was like, it's an epidemic. It wasn't an epidemic. They had a couple of weirdos that probably would have attacked anybody that just happened to attack Asians that day. And I'm pretty sure since they passed that bill, there are a ton of more Asians have been attacked in the same manner. We just not seeing it because the White House isn't calling them. The Democrats isn't calling the MSN, the mainstream media, saying, you know what, we got to cover this story. We got to find an Asian that got attacked. So they out there in the press combing all throughout America just to find one Asian that got attacked each day. So they could then say that Asians are just getting randomly attacked all over the world. I thought that was bananas. Bananas. So we're going to make a bill to protect Asians, which I'm fine with, but we're not going to make a bill to protect black people. But y'all consider her to be black in any regard. So she gets asked the question, Donald Trump said that you were black. Donald Trump said that you just are pretending to be black, basically. And she didn't want to answer the question. That was her opportunity to let the people that support her and love her know what to say when people try to come at them about the situation. And she gave them nothing. She's playing y'all for fools. This isn't even me saying she needed to answer the question because, you're the vice president or you're running for president. This is me saying, what are your supporters supposed to do? Because history is proven that you have not been considering yourself to be black. History is proven that. It's not hard to go look up all of the different instances where she insisted she was Asian. It's not difficult. It's not hard. It's easily findable. So I think she left her own people, her own supporters. I think she left them out on a ledge, you know? I think I've mentioned this before, but I think my dislike for this particular, administration stems from the fact that I'm going through a lot of the things that they're sending Trump through. I actively have people just following me around lying to every single person that'll listen. I actively have that happening to me. So that is probably one of the biggest reasons why I am just disgusted at what the Democratic Party is doing. I'm disgusted at what they're doing when they openly lie about Trump. You do know what it means when people feel like they have to lie about you, right? You know what that means, right? I think people don't understand what that means when people feel like they have to lie about you. It's because they know everything about you is positive. It's because they know everything about you. If people knew about you, they would like you. You don't have that many things about you that are unlikable. Most of the things about you are likable. That's why the people gotta lie. You can say what you want about Trump, but Trump's just a New Yorker. A lot of other people, in other parts of America have an issue with the way us New Yorkers go about our communications with people. A lot of y'all think that we're a little bit too brash sometimes or self-centered and shit like that. And the dope part is this: when you speak to, like, when you meet people from other countries, like, there's certain people, like certain places in America that they want you to be what the stereotype is. I'm just being honest with you. Like, so, and let me just say something real quick. So if you, like, I'm from the Bronx. So when I meet people that's like from another country and they're just coming over here, they expect me to come with my full Bronx bullshit, just so we can be clear. And I'm assuming it's like that, like if you live anywhere where there is a noticeable an opinion about what the demographic over there is, like how the people are. Like if you meet a Texan, you just assume that they do a lot of barbecues and carry guns. So I say all that to say Trump is just a New Yorker, fam. That's it. He's just a New Yorker. Some New Yorkers that's never left New York and they've just lived in New York their whole lives, they might not understand how confidently we talk about things. They might not understand it. They might not understand that when we talk about things, we are passionate. Like, we as New Yorkers are passionate. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if we telling you something, we telling you something. So I think a lot of people that live in New York that's never actually ventured outside of New York, they don't understand how people that are other places might seem timid to us. They're not timid. I'm not saying anyone is timid, but because of how cordial they are, and being that manners are different. I'm lying. I'm pardon me. I'm trying not to be too harsh on New Yorkers, just so we could be. So I'm trying to not make us sound like douchebags. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not fudging the truth as much as I am. I'm trying to think of the most polite ways to say New Yorkers are rude. We're rude. And a lot of time New Yorkers feel like if you don't allow them to be a little bit rude, that you're rude. That's the way we feel sometimes. Most of our jokes are making fun of somebody. Might be you. So when she was asked, I know it be sounding like sometimes I don't be staying on topic, but like my brain, it works different. So I'm saying all that to say this. Kamala Harris had a perfect opportunity to embrace the Black culture when they asked her that question. And she didn't. I'm going to tell you why she didn't in 2 seconds. But she did. That was her opportunity to put a big hug around Black people. And she chose to say next question. So you want this woman to be the president of the United States and she couldn't answer that question? That's bananas. You want this person to be the president of the United States? This person. You know how bananas that is? She can't even go do an interview by herself. She couldn't do an interview that was less than 20 minutes by herself. And so you could understand the importance of this. She had Tim Walz with her and they asked him questions. So how long was her actual interview? Like 8 minutes? Tim Walz got to talk. The interviewer has to talk. How long was her interview? 8 minutes? Let's err on the side of giving her more. Let's err on the side of caution. 10 minutes? That's how long her interview was? You're going to go vote for somebody to be the president of the United States, where they're going to have to go to places like Russia, where they're going to have to go to places like, should I name the places that Trump went? Because Trump went everywhere. And this person hasn't even been to Europe yet. And they're the freaking vice president for the last 3.5 years, and they haven't even been to Europe. So you mean all of those, conventions that they have over there in Europe, she's not went to one of them? She hasn't went to not one of the conventions. All of the conventions that they have over in Europe, she hasn't went to one. All of the different UN functions that happen over in Europe in the last 3.5 years, she hasn't went to one. I'm going to explain something to y'all for the people that don't get it. You want to know what one of the main things that a vice president generally does? Travel around to other countries and shake the hands of leaders. So she hasn't went to Europe at all to shake the hands of any of those leaders? Europe is friendly with us. How the fuck is she going to go to Russia? Trump went to North Korea, only president ever. Trump also went to China, I believe. Let me check. I don't just want to say that and throw that out there. When Trump was president, did he visit China?
Here is information from en.wikipedia.org.
Yeah, he did. November 8th to November 10th of 2017. He went to France July 13th to 14th, 2017. Japan November 5th to 7th. South Korea November 7th to 8th. And China November 8th to 10th. So, see, I can't really see it, but it's there. You can see the word China a little blurry. Let me put it up on the screen for y'all real quick. Hold on. I forgot the I. The number of visits per country where President Trump traveled are 1, Afghanistan. She hasn't even been to Europe. Argentina, Canada, China, Finland, India, Iraq. She hasn't even been to Europe. Israel, North Korea. She hasn't even been to Europe. The Philippines, Poland, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Vatican City, and the West Bank. So this woman who is vying to be our president, who is the current vice president, has not even visited countries who are friendly with us. How are y'all voting for her? I'm not trying to be an ass. I just really need somebody to explain to me how y'all voting for her. How? How are y'all voting for her? What up, Lyric? How you doing this morning? I need an explanation. And that's why whenever I hear somebody say, that's why whenever somebody says, yo, they support something, and then I'll be like, word? And then the whole reason why they support something is negative on whatever the other side is. I'm like, well, yeah, it seems like you don't know anything about the thing that you don't like. Somebody just told you to not like a thing, and then you agreed. That's it. Somebody came up to you, told you that you could not like something, or you could not like somebody, and you just said, you know what? I'll be your huckleberry. That's it. I need for somebody to explain to me why it is better to vote for Kamala than to vote for Trump. I need that explanation. Shout out Nervins. How you doing this morning, my brother? Shout out Washable Marker. How you doing? Shout out Lyric. We are not doing the saloon, but I could use a little bit of support from y'all, if possible. And I'm not just talking to the people that I just named. I just named the people because I was putting their shit up on the screen. I'm talking about the people that's a part of the community. I could use a little bit of support today. Oh, shout to Lyric. She says, I just woke up, seen you was live. How are you? I'm doing fine. Nervin Numbers says, how did you rate the interview? I think she did a terrible job, and I think CNN is hacks. I don't think I will ever trust anything that CNN has to say until they prove to me that they just don't parrot whatever the Democrats want them to say. They need to prove it to me at this point. I just don't think CNN can be trusted. I just don't think they could be trusted. I've done interviews, and that didn't look like an interview to me as much as it looked like, how are we going to make you look good? And we don't have a choice. We have to ask you certain questions, because if we don't, they're going to kill us. They're going to talk about we doing this or we didn't do that. They're going to kill us. So we got to ask you certain questions. And that's why when they asked her about the Donald Trump saying that you black thing, you're now black. That's why she tried to pull it away. You get it? That's why she was just like, she ain't want to answer. There is no right answer. The only right answer is the truth. And the truth is the wrong answer because it doesn't help her. There is no right answer. Not from a political standpoint. Nervin Number says she is not ready. Fam, who else thinks she looked drunk? Not drunk, hungover. Who else thinks that when she speaks, she sounds like somebody who has a drinking problem? I think when she speaks, she sounds like somebody that has a drinking problem. I'll say it. I don't care what anybody thinks either. She sounds like she got a drinking. When she speaks, to me, it sounds like she's somebody that got a drinking problem. We had 27 votes so far. Did Kamala look like she might have had a hangover? 48% said yes. 44% said no. 7% said just want to see results. Fam, I'm just being honest with you. She looks like she has a drinking problem. I know people, we all know people that have a drinking problem, fam. Don't we? We all know people that have a drinking problem. She looks like she has a drinking problem. Maybe that's why she's not getting any work done. What the heck do I know? Oh, I'll get to that in 2 seconds. Hold on, Nervin. Thank you for putting that question up. Oh, thank you for putting that comment up. Lyric says, I don't trust CNN. I don't trust CNN. I don't trust NBC. I'm just, at this point, I'm like, fam, is Fox really the only station out here that's doing the closest thing to the truth? Fox? Because now I have to rethink everything. You know how many years I thought Fox was just lying? You mean to tell me these motherfuckers could have been telling the truth this whole entire time? You mean to tell me this whole entire time, the Fox News Network could have been telling us the truth for years and years and years. And because the Democrats had us under, myself also, under such a deep hypnosis, couldn't even recognize it. Our hypnosis was so deep. Do you understand that everything that they're doing right now would be a win if people weren't waking up? Every single thing they're doing right now would be a win for them. The problem is that, you know, people are now looking at their situation. Imagine if Donald Trump never wins any election and he's never the president. The Democrats would still have us on a leash. The only reason why the Democrats don't have us on a leash anymore, well, it's a couple of reasons. Well, two of the main reasons is Donald Trump was actually a really good president. Like, he actually was a really good president. That's one reason. And the second reason is this current administration is the worst. Like, this current administration is like the worst administration since I've been alive. They're just the worst. I might be, if I live 50 more years, I might not be able to see a worse presidential campaign, a worse administration, pardon me. If I live 50 more years, I might not see a worse administration. This administration is terrible. And it's terrible at the point where it can't be by accident. You understand? I used to always say something whenever I used to talk politics with people. And I used to always say, well, the Democrats are always promising people things that they can't deliver. And as the American people will go vote for them, and then they'll complain that, politicians are all liars. But the only reason why you think the Republicans are lying is because the Democrats are telling you that they're lying. When the Republicans give their people a promise, guess what? They do it. When the Republicans promise their constituents something, them niggas go balls to the wall. When the Democrats promise us things, they promise us things they know they can't do. Let's just take one break real quick so I could just bring up something that they promised us. What up, LLC? That they know that they can't do. The student loan debt relief thing. They can't do that. There's three branches of government, as we all know, right? It's the judiciary, it's the executive, and it's Congress, right? The judges, the president, and Congress, right? So the only all three of these different heads have different responsibilities and different powers, just so we can be clear. And what I don't think people understand is, in total, all the power is equal. The only difference is you got a ton of people in Congress, right? How many Supreme Court justices are there? 8 or some shit like that? And there's only one president. That's the difference. But they all have the same amount of actual power. Their power is just in different places. The only people that could relieve debt is Congress. Period. The executive branch can't do it. The judiciary branch can't do it. Only Congress. So Trump, Biden he can't relieve student debt. He can't. So they're busy promising you a thing that they know that they can't do. And then when they can't do it, they're going to blame the Republicans. I'm going to give you another example. That last border thing and then we're going to move on. That last border thing that Kamala Harris is constantly talking about. She's like, it's the Republicans in Congress. They said no to the bill, and they did it because Donald Trump, he didn't want us to get a win. No. I mean, maybe also in addition to, but besides that, your bill was bad. There was already a perfect thing in place. They stay in Mexico until we know who they are, and they go through a vetting process. And then after they go through the vetting process, we decide if we're going to allow them to come in America. I can't even think of a better solution. I can't think of a better solution. Why in the hell would Biden rip that up? If not for nefarious purposes that go against the American people. You have other countries sending their armies onto American soil. You do understand. That's why Trump said the first thing he's going to do is kick them niggas out. Niggas is sending their army through our borders. These aren't just regular niggas that's out here arguing with niggas in the street. These migrants are not just regular. Yeah, there's regulars. But a large percentage of these migrants, they're military from other countries coming into America, finding places to set up. What do you think is happening in Aurora, Colorado? Do y'all hear those people outside talking? Because that shit started right before I came on live. Anyway, shout out to those people. Washable Marcus says she's the worst. She might be worse than the worst. She might be the worstest. Nervin Number says, I can't believe she said she hasn't changed her views. You do know that basically means that what we're living in right now is just that's gonna stay here. It's gonna get worse. Actually, it's not just gonna stay here. It's gonna actively get worse. Y'all do know this, right? That's why every time I hear somebody say that they're gonna vote for her because she's a black woman, I'm sorry. I just don't think that's a good reason. That's like voting for somebody because they're a white man. Imagine if I just bear with me. Imagine if you was talking to a MAGA supporter and they just flat out said, "Nah, I think a white man needs to be in power." Imagine if they said that crazy shit. Just think about that. They was like, "Nah, I think a white man needs to be in power. All of the white men's is." You'll be calling them racist, right? So why is it okay for people to say they want a black woman in power? Somebody explain that to me. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm listening. Why is it that the only people that talk about race are Democrats? Let me back up a little. Why is it the only people that talk about race is racist? Now would have been the perfect time to take a long sip of coffee, but I drank all of my coffee already. So, just so we could be clear, her views are what we're currently living in, and she says her views haven't changed. Why would you elect her? I'm around white people nowadays more than I'm around blacks. I'm around Europeans, not even just, I'm around Europeans, foreigners nowadays more than I'm around black people. That's because of where I live at. I never hear them talking about race. Maybe they are. They speak in another language. They could be talking about what the hell do I know, right? But no. And every time where I live at right now, I see a competent black man, a competent black woman. They embrace them. Is there a little fear in the beginning? Yeah, why not? But they embrace them when given the opportunity. Now, why when I talk to black people, do they only want to talk about racism? Excuse me. Because when I talk to, I sneezed. Because when I talk to people who aren't black, racism isn't even brought up. They're not talking about how they dislike this race or dislike that race. I hear, let me rewind off of that son. I've heard more people who are, of Caucasian lineage, European, say that they might not agree with another person that is from Caucasian lineage or a European, but not black people. Maybe because I'm black, so they don't want to say it. They're like, oh man, we don't want to let the cats out of the bags. But maybe it's also because they're just not racist and their differences with people might actually have a foundation. With that being said, I need one moment. We're going to go to a commercial break, and I'm going to be right back. Also, if you would like to have your commercial played on our platform, whether it's you or whether it's your friend or your whoever the hell, you could always contact us, and we're going to see how we can try to make all of those things happen. All of those things. Be right back. Sorry about that. I needed a minute to blow my nose, a whole bunch of stuff. Let's go to another comment real quick. And shout out to everybody that's dropping comments this morning. I definitely appreciate y'all. This makes this a lot more pleasurable. Lyric says, Kamala says she's going to keep her policies, but then said she is going to change something. She hasn't done anything good for us in 3.5 years. Yeah, so while she is also saying, and just so y'all can understand the hypocrisy of this, and this is why I'm like, how can y'all believe, pardon me, how can you believe anything that's coming out of her mouth? While she's also saying, Biden, great job. We love what we've done. What our administration has done, absolutely immaculate. We fixed all the problems. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Absolutely all immaculate. We fixed all the problems. It's great. So then you as a voter who is pissed off at our current situation, what we're currently living in, how do you vote for her? Please, somebody write down in the comment section. Give me a second. Yeah, how do you vote for her? She's basically saying Biden's done everything great. We love Biden. Biden is extraordinary. And we're really pissed off at the direction that the country is currently in. So then how do you vote for her? And like, honestly, how do you do that? How do you say, well, I know our country right now is a pile of crap, but you know what? 4 more years. How do you do that? Oh, man, should I talk about the Facebook thing now? I want to get to a couple of comments. Let me talk about the Facebook thing now before I forget. Let me take this comment off the screen real quick. So, recently, who's the dude that owns Meta? I forgot his name. But the dude that owns Meta. I forget people. Who owns Meta? Mark Zuckerberg. So Mark Zuckerberg, remember he came out and he was like, yo, the Democrats, they put pressure on us. I was like, why is he doing this? So first I was like, is he doing this because, you know, he really honestly is remorseful? It's like, wow, Mark Zuckerberg, he's really good guy. He did a thing. He figured out it was the wrong thing to do. Now he's remorseful about it, and he's basically giving an apology tour. He went and did how many interviews? So he basically like did an apology tour, right? Now hold on there. Apparently, Trump and his team informed him that if he's up to those same shenanigans that he was up to previously after Trump's wins, that nigga's gonna spend the rest of his life in jail. So think about that for one moment. So the Democrats use Twitter to gaslight y'all. And now after the dude that, not Twitter, Meta, well, Twitter also, but they used Facebook to gaslight y'all. So much so that the owner of Facebook has come out and said that I don't even support Democrats anymore. And then for Trump's team to let us know that if any of those shenanigans go on again and Trump win, that nigga going to jail forever. So shout out to Trump for that. I'm 100% on time with that. I'm here for that. I don't think people are stupid, by the way. I think that we have just been programmed to think a certain way. I don't think people are stupid. I don't think that the majority of the people that are voting for Kamala Harris is stupid. I mean, I guess the same percentage of people that's voting for Trump is stupid, right? The same percentage. I don't think they're stupid. I don't think that they're mentally defunct. I don't think that they have a disorder of any kind. I just simply think that the brainwashing that our people have went through over the last, exist 200 years. Like we're finally breaking that curse. It's a curse, by the way. Real quick. So in the Bible, God says that when his people don't listen to him, that he's going to put them in slavery. So keep that in mind. I'm going to say that again. What passage is it? Where in the Bible does it say that if God's people don't follow his rules, that he's going to put them into slavery? So it's God, I always have a problem saying that. Hold on, let me show you something real quick. Because I'm making a point. Oh, well, I didn't put the damn screen up. Hold on. I'm trying to make a point. So hold on, give me 1 second. I'll show it to y'all rather than just say it. Why did it cancel? And I spelled it wrong. Thought I hit it twice. So there should be one. Basically, also it says that you're supposed to do what your boss tells you to do, just so we can be clear. Burn your earthly masters and everything, not by the way of eye service as people pleasers, but with sincerity, heart, and fearing the Lord. So, yeah, you're supposed to, but that's not the passage I'm looking for. This is about something totally different. Hold on. Why does it say that God puts his people into slavery? I should have said servitude. Why does it say that God sends his people into servitude? hate when I don't know a passage and then I don't know the proper way to say it in order to get with the information that I'm trying to convey. But basically, the Bible has a Exodus. Nope. I'm just using the wrong words. They might be blocking it also. Fucking YouTube. I mean, fucking Google. Shout out to Google. Shout out to YouTube. They think I'm trying to justify slavery. I'm not trying to fucking justify slavery. We're not doing that. I'm reading the responses. It's like they think I'm trying to justify slavery. We're not doing that. I'm not justifying slavery. But also, just so we can be clear, what the Bible deems as slavery and what the slavery that actually was going on in America is literally two different things. Literally two different things. Because you're not even supposed to, you're supposed to be, kind to your slaves. So it's literally two different things. The next time you see, if you're ever reading the Bible and you come to the part where it talks about how a slave master is supposed to treat the slave, what I want you to do is I want you to remove employer and I want you to put employer and employee. Because remember, money isn't a thing in the Bible as much as bartering is. So some people had nothing. So they had to barter with the one thing that is the most valuable thing, and that's time. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. And I'm not defending slavery. Let's get back to some of these questions real quick. Some of these comments. Nervin says, I believe we should have a woman president one day, but she's not it. I think that we should just continuously elect the people who are good at the job. And I don't care if they're a woman or a man. That's what I think we should do. Elect the people who are competent and can do the job. If it's a woman, it's a woman. If it's a man, it's a man. I don't think we should look to elect one thing or the other, just so we can be clear. Nervin number says, people love Trump more than in 2016. Yeah, because sometimes something needs to be removed for people to appreciate it. And that's basically what happened with Trump. Like, y'all didn't appreciate Trump when he was here. Not you specifically, but I mean, like a lot of, he wasn't appreciated as he probably should have been. And since he wasn't appreciated as much as he should have been, now that he's gone, people are realizing the absence or the void that was created, especially with this new administration. LL King says, damn. You gonna see me in 50 years? Salute if I'm here. Trump did a live town hall. Nervin numbers, you still in here? When did Trump do that live town hall? If you still in here, I mean, he did with homegirl, right? The Tulsa, whatever her name is. Agree that Colorado situation is scary. It's scary. And I think, is Colorado one of those states that's hard on gun control? Is Colorado hard on gun control? They have many strong firearm laws. Why was that before we go any further, why was that the first thing that came to my mind? Anybody realizes why that's the first thing that came to my mind? I want to give y'all a second. Put it in the chat. Why do you think that was the first thing that came to my mind? I'm going to give y'all a second. I'm going to give you the answer. Even if you don't have no answers, I'm going to give you the answer. But if you want to have some fun, you can put it in the chat why you think that was the first thing that came to my mind. Let's see what this poll is talking about real quick. All right, we got 39 votes. The question is, did Kamala look like she might have had a hangover? 54% of the people said yes, 36% of the people said no, and 10% said just want to see the results. The reason why that was the first thing that came to my mind is because I'm telling you, they're sending their military through our southern border. There's probably hundreds of thousands of people from various different, and just so we can be clear, I don't mean just 100,000 in total. I mean, China right now could have 100,000 here. The Muslims from the countries where they want to go and, the countries that don't like America could have 100,000 here. Russia could have 100,000 here. Africa could have 100,000 here. You understand? I'm not saying 100,000 in total. I mean, independently, all of these nations could have 100,000 here. So why do I say this? Why do I immediately think Colorado had a big thing on gun control? Because that's how they know where to go. You know what? If we go invade Colorado, we have to deal with less of the public fighting back. You know, we go to Chicago, you know, we can't pull guns on them niggas because they're going to shoot back. If we go to New York, we can't pull guns on them niggas. They're going to shoot back. If we go to LA, we already know what type of time it is. They're going to shoot back. So where can we go that has such strong gun laws that we don't have to worry about the public shooting back at us? I think they're not trying this shit in Texas. I want to see them go try to invade Texas. We're going to have a lot of dead illegal immigrants. Tell me where the lie at. I want to see them illegal immigrants from Venezuela try to pull up in here at freaking Marcy Projects in Brooklyn, or in fucking, part of my language, or in Patterson Projects or Mitchell's Projects in the Bronx and try to do that same thing. Ain't gonna fly. Tell me where the lie at. I want to see them try to go down to Flatbush and try to steal them buildings. Ain't gonna fly. So where do they go? Colorado. Why? They don't have to worry about as much resistance from the people. Just telling you, man. Military mind. Colorado is scary. You are correct, Lyric. It'll get worse with Kamala. Yeah, because Kamala's more liberal. She's than Biden. Way more liberal, you know, than Biden. Like she's really cuckoo. How, you know how crazy she gotta be? She goes up there and has public conversations. So there was she went to go speak somewhere, right? And the police officer that was there said she smelled like so much alcohol. Pardon me. He said she was so drunk that she wouldn't have been allowed to drive a car. That's how drunk she was when she went to go give a speech somewhere. So drunk, they wouldn't have allowed her to drive a car. She was driving a car, she would have got a ticket, pulled over. She would have got arrested. Think about that for real quick. She's a communist trying to introduce communism. Yes, she's 100% a communist. So for the people that don't understand what communism is, so we are basically a republic, right? So a republic, then there's a democracy. Those are literally two different things, right? And then there's socialism. That's three different things, right? And then after socialism, it's communism. Now, the thing about this, and the reason why I put it in that order, republic, democracy, socialism, communism, is because in a republic, we have the most rights. In a communist society, I don't want to do that. In a republic, we have the most rights. Dang. In a republic, we have the most rights. In a communist society, we have the least rights. In a democracy, we have less rights than in a republic. In socialist society, we have more rights than in communism, but less rights than in a democracy. So a republic, we have the most rights. In a democracy, we have less rights because we give more power to the government. In a socialist system, we have even less rights because we give even more power to the government. And in the communist country, we basically have no rights. We have zero rights. She's a communist. That's why when I hear people say they're going to vote for her because she's black, I'm like, golly, man. Like, we got to do better than this, man. We got to do better than this. You're going to vote for her because she's black. You're going to vote for her because she's a woman, not because she's competent, not because she knows how to do anything, not because you like her ideas. You're going to vote for her because you hate Trump. I'm going to say something, and because we haven't been doing a lot of lives. So I want to say something. I want to be clear on this. Every single black activist that comes out and speaks on her behalf is a sellout, and they're selling you out, and they work for Satan. I don't care who they are. I don't care how they try to gloss it up. They work for Satan. They don't like you. Even the ones of you that agree with them, they don't like you. A lot of times people think if you agree with them, then that means that they like them. I'm going to give you a good example in my personal life, right? So I'm not going to say no names, but I'm going to tell you about a situation. So we got some little white kid that be over here at the basketball courts, right? And he wants the black kids to like him so much. Like, I've never seen a nigga dick ride so hard in real time. Like, in real time. Like, this nigga's the biggest dick rider. Like, it's crazy, fam. But them dudes don't even like him. Like, they don't even like him a little bit. They laugh at him. They just recently started letting the nigga play basketball with them. Like, they used to make that nigga sit on the side. He couldn't play with them. And just so we could be clear, he had the skill to play. It wasn't like he didn't have the skill. He had the skill to play. His skill and their skill wasn't so far removed that he couldn't get on the court and be effective. You understand? I'm not just saying get on the court and be there. I mean, be effective. He's not a terrible basketball player. He's actually pretty decent. And for his age, he's pretty okay. And for his age and everything going on with his physical capability, he's pretty okay. But he be D-rodding these dudes. They don't even like him. And so every time I see them, he's just trying so hard to be like, look at me, please like me, please. That's how you guys are. Them activists don't care about you. I'm not trying to shit on my son. I'm not trying to shit on Tamika Mallory. But those people are not for black people. They're not for black people. They just use their blackness to make money. They're not for black people. They just sell their word to the highest bidder. They are not for black people. And at this point, because with the maybe my son is just not that smart, but Tamika Mallory is extremely intelligent and savvy. My son, I don't think he's that smart, but Tamika Mallory is extremely intelligent and savvy. She knows what she's doing. She's smart enough to know what Kamala Harris is doing. She is intelligent enough to know where this world is going towards if Kamala Harris stays in power. So I don't know if they got themselves involved with a ritual and now there's some people with some tape somewhere and they don't want the people to show nobody the tape. That might be it. They might have got caught up. I don't know. I don't think my son is that intelligent at all. I just think that he knows words. And just so we could be clear, I'm not trying to insult him. The reason why I don't think he's that intelligent because he consistently used words incorrectly. That's why I don't think he's that intelligent. He consistently tries to say words that like are big words or whatever. It's not really big words, it's words that aren't commonly used. I think we need to stop using the whole that's a big word. It's just words that are not commonly used. That's it. So he consistently uses those words that are not commonly used incorrectly. It's okay if we in a conversation and you say a word incorrectly or you use a word incorrectly a couple of times. Like, who doesn't do that? But to be in a conversation and use 15 words incorrectly, it's like, what in the hell is this guy talking about? You say 6 sentences, and in those 6 sentences, you use 5 words incorrectly. How is this nigga doing this? I'm like, how is he doing this? So I've literally stood across from the dude, had a conversation with the dude, and heard him talking, and there was people there, and I'm literally thinking to myself, this guy doesn't even know the words he's saying out his mouth, and the people that's standing there around him are okaying him and yesing him, and like, this is what we're doing. So I don't say nothing. So I don't say nothing. Nowadays, when people say words and they don't know what they're talking about, I don't say nothing. I just, fuck it. Because if you say something and now you're being a snob, I'm not gonna be a snob. God doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just saying words. He heard somebody use a word, it sounds smart, so he's just repeating it. That's it. I always give the example of I had a relative that wanted to say something was small, but he didn't realize that different words for small donate basically mean different things. Like, you wouldn't use infinitesimal to say something that we can actually see and measure is infinitesimal. You understand what I'm saying? Infinitesimal is not, you can't really see or measure that. Anyway. So he does that all the time. So I just don't think he's that intelligent, to be honest with you. I think he's just faking. I think he's just one of those rappers that used to look in the dictionary and find a big word and then say this rhymes with that. There's a lot of you niggas out there. I'll tell you one right now. He's a big deal. And I think that he does this. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that he does this because he uses words wrong all the time. The baby. He uses words wrong all the time. So I think he also does that. Just reads a dictionary and like just finds words that rhyme. So just a point I'm making. Lyric says we can't do 4 more years of her. Honestly, no, we can't. Our world right now, when I say our world, I mean the whole entire earth. We're like at a damn. I was about to use the word, a dope ass word. Do I want to say fulcrum? That wasn't the word I was thinking of. Fulcrum.
According to Merriam-Webster, prop specifically.
So I do this all day, by the way. Whenever I'm think of something or hear something that I don't 100% know the answer for, I just Google the shit. I heard somebody say that I'm not gonna say that because I'm not here. I'm not bashing nobody, but I 100% just Google shit. So I'll be Googling shit all day long, like all day long. I like to, but we're at a place where it's a very important point of history that a lot of our next 100, maybe 200 years is going to be decided by. The direction of the world is going to be decided by. We're at that point. It's at that point in history right now. So it is of paramount of importance that she or no one at all with her mindset gets elected as president in this next election, more than any other election, because this is what's going to happen. If Donald Trump gets elected, then the Democrats is done. And that's coming to my next point. I want to talk about how they were lying about the actual condition of the current president, Joe Biden. I want to talk about that. Google in the last 4 years don't show much when you ask about the Bible. That's the truth. Appreciate you, Lyric. The Democrats wants to remove us from the Bible. So I don't even understand how y'all rock with them niggas. I'm just being honest with you. Imagine someone saying that they want to remove a society from God. That's bananas. You're voting for a person that wants to remove God from our society. I don't know if I could rock with you. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you're a bad person. Maybe you believe, yeah, but the reasons why you believe you're making this vote is great ideas. I don't have the slightest idea. But God first. Not your vote for the presidency first and then God. Lyric says, what I mean is Republican states have gun control, but they have to register. Yeah, no, I got your point entirely. Yes, places where the Republicans are in control of generally allows for the Constitution for you to be able to experience the entirety of the Constitution, including our Second Amendment. This is a fact. Lyric says, like I said, who are the people that want to take your rights away? It's always the Democrats trying to take your rights away. Always. It's always the Republicans trying to give us more rights. So I'm sorry. It is what it is. Especially for people that complain about slavery all the time, but you rather have the person in charge that wants to take away your rights. But once you turn the corner and go talk with your friends, you're going to discuss how slavery is so terrible. But you're also only going to vote for the people who want to take away your rights. So I need an explanation. Lyric says, hey, chat, y'all could disagree with me, but I don't agree. I don't agree, but I like to hear what y'all think about what I'm saying too. I could always be wrong. Yeah, I want to apologize, Lyric. We've had people convince people that they should not never comment on this page because they're trying to kill our page so badly. So I'm sorry that more people don't feel like they can comment on the page. You know, I know you, so I know what your intentions are. So I want to just say I apologize that, but there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about people lying and people believing the lie. Remember, and you might know this better than me. What they'll do is they'll see me interact with you. They're gonna pull up on you. They're gonna try to find out who you are soon enough because you with way too many comments today. So they're gonna try to pull up on you sooner or later and either try to get you to come in here and start an argument with me, which is just evil as shit. They're gonna try to get you to either pull up and try to start an argument with me. And then when I respond back to you the way that you should respond back to somebody that's just trying to argue with you, they're gonna say, see, you should never go back to that guy's page again. He's a terrible person. Like, that's bananas. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they really want to put me in a position where I'm just being attacked all day. And anytime I'm trying to prevent someone from attacking me, that I'm wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So don't expect people to comment. I just want to apologize about that. I love the fact that you comment. Thank you very much. I got to deal with this in my regular life also. Like I told y'all the other day when I was just walking and they just have people just trying to come up to me and start arguments with me. Let me tell you what happened real quick. So I was in a store to go get my coffee this morning, and a guy comes up to me and he says, you know, good morning to me. He starts actually talking to me. I'll say good morning to anybody. Don't get this confused. But he actually started talking to me and I couldn't place his face. So I was like, do I know you? I did actually know him. And you know, I dapped him up, gave him the big hug. But I wish that I didn't have to be that way. But that's one person that came up to me and spoke to me in like I'm a human being. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have at least 10, 15 people that are just gonna just because that's like a daily, everyday thing. They just so I'm probably gonna have about, you know, there's no telling how many people I'm gonna have come up to me, and almost all of them be black, just so we can be clear. Gonna come up to me today to try to start arguing with me. And if I argue with them, I'm wrong. And if I walk away, I'm a pussy. So it's no win for me. You understand what I'm saying? So I just walk around with my headphones on. I don't talk to nobody. With that being said, is there anything anybody want to comment on this? Anything that you want to ask me about the interview? We are talking about the interview. Obviously, as usual, I'm tailing off and saying other things also, but we are talking about the interview. Any other questions y'all have about the interview with Kamala Harris? Copy lyric. But you do understand that I have that problem. You understand what I'm saying? Where I'm literally not doing anything but being followed around by people that just evil, hateful people. I'm not doing nothing. Any other questions about anything Kamala Harris or Trump related? Yeah. It's bad too, like not for nothing. Like it's really bad. I think the worst part of it is it's hard for me to look at people nowadays and not just think like it takes a lot to not. People are just it takes a lot to not just feel like everybody's not evil. Like you just get to a point where you just feel like everybody is evil. Like I don't know other way to explain it. Like I don't know no other way to explain it. You just get to a point where you just feel that way. So like right now, that's like the only thing I'm really struggling with. Like trying to not feel like everybody is evil. Like that's like the thing I'm struggling with right now in my life. I'm not nothing else, you know. I got this gay dude that's been following me around. Shit is crazy. Every time I go out my door for like the last 2 days, it didn't happen today, but every time I go out my door for like the last like 2-3 days, he's like always outside my house walking down the block somehow. I was on the bus, the nigga came and sat down next to me and then tried to like tap me on the leg or some shit. And then tried to, I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do. I don't want no smoke, fam, just so we could be clear. But I'm gonna give you a wide berth from now on. I don't want to talk. I don't want to see the guy ever again. I'm not saying he's a bad person or nothing like that, but I'm gonna give him a wide berth. I'm gonna make sure that when I see him, I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of crossing of the street. Yeah, I don't want no problems. I don't dislike you. I don't want nothing bad to happen to you. But I think that you want to do violence to me. Any man that wants to have sex with me wants to do violence to me, because man on man sex, in my opinion, is violence. So you want to do violence to me. So I just want to avoid you. So we be clear. Not hating though. Just I'd rather just avoid you. I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, I don't want to deal with it. But that's the problem that you come across when you're a straight man and you are nice to gay people. It happens more times than you could assume, you know. I got a relative who's just always as cruel and mean to gay people as possible. And I always was like, I think you're going overboard. I don't think he's going overboard. Because it don't happen with every gay man or every gay person. I'm assuming not every gay person is attracted to me also, just so we can be clear. But it happens more times than it needs to be. And you just, you know, you're a human being. I want to treat you like a human being. You haven't done anything to me that was egregious. You haven't done anything to me that I know about that's effery. So I want to be kind and polite to you. But by me being kind and polite to you, you think that I might be open to homosexual relations. Now I got to avoid you until the day that I die. And that's the way I feel. And the reason why I say the day that I die, not the day that they die, is because let's say they die before me and then they're in the funeral. I don't want to walk, and they're in a grave. I don't want to walk past their grave. They're going to be like, that's the grave of the guy that tried to have sex with you. I'm going to walk around the long way. And you have no idea how honest I'm being. I'm always honest, but you have no idea how much I mean that. I'm going to walk around the long way. I don't even want to walk past your grave. Yeah, I'm not on that type of time. I don't hate you. I don't want bad things for you. But a man wanting to sleep with me is like one of the worst things you could want to do to me personally. Like personally, that's one of the worst things you could want to do to me. Personally. I'd rather you just like cut my hand off. I'm not even lying. You cut my hand off, I could still go to heaven. You chop my leg off, I could still go to heaven. I don't want any of those things to happen. Just so we could be clear. I don't want any of those things. I want my hand, I want my legs, I want all my body parts. But that's the way I feel about that. So shout out to that guy. Sheesh. And see that motherfucker, I'm just crossing the street, fam. And then if he crosses the street, I'm crossing the street back. It's not doing this. You're doing zero of this, fam. Zero of this. Yeah, zero of that. You want to do violence to me. It's bananas. What's this? I can't see those emojis. They too small. You laughing. You says not every guy person. I'm assuming you meant gay person, especially since after that you wrote I didn't mean guy instead of just saying did they allow for you to type gay? Maybe they didn't allow for you to type it. I don't know. But you know, I don't have anything against, let's say I am actually a big supporter of the Bible. So let's say I was like, you know, I want to live the Bible to the utmost. One of the things the Bible says is that we're supposed to live by the laws of the land that we live in. The laws of the land that we live in say that I got to treat people a certain way, even if I disagree with them. Right? So I don't care if you're gay. What the fuck does that got to do with me? But if you're trying to have sex with me, you make it my business. Now I care. But if you're not trying to have sex with me, you're not making it my business. What the fuck do I care? And I know people are going to say I'm hypocritical because I've had sex with gay women, but the Bible says not man shall have sex with man. It don't say shit about man don't have sex with woman that likes women. It don't say that. Apparently, I've scooped up quite a few gay women in my life, especially the ones that you wouldn't think like men, apparently. So I gotta be pretty attractive or have something going on good with me. I don't know. Anyway, anything else y'all guys want to talk about? We at the hour and 30-minute mark. I'm not in any rush, but I need a little bit more communication back from y'all guys if we're gonna keep the show going. Anything else y'all want to talk about? Any other question about the interview y'all want to ask? Would y'all like to hear what would y'all like to hear some of what the Alpo jurist said? Yeah, would y'all like to know some of my notes about I interviewed one of the Alpo jurists? Would y'all like to know what was going on in that? Put it in the chat. I hate that damn song. So I'm getting something off the damn thing, and that damn song come up every time. Damn near. All right, hold on. Let me get my book. So I'm going to give you a little preamble. Because I was just talking about my son, just so we could be clear, I'm using that word correctly. And it is a preamble is an introductory statement that explains the purpose and philosophy of a document. All right, so I want to say just so we can be clear, because after I said what I said about my son, I just want y'all to know I actively, when I use words that are outside of the customary words that people use, I actively try to make sure I'm using it appropriately. Because a lot of the way that I learned how to learn a lot of the words that I know, it don't have to deal with school. It has to deal with those are just the type of people I spoke with. I'm fortunate that there was a large period of my life that the majority of the people that I got into communications with was just so much smarter than me, like so much more intelligent than me. And one of the first things you learn when you're speaking to people or you should notice when you're speaking to people in the gap of intelligence is, it's not like I was saying before that they use larger words. They just use words that are less customary than words that are generally used. So it's like they're not using all of the big words. They're just using more words to be able to be more descriptive. And it's often not the words that we generally use in normal conversation, or, that's in the here nor there. So I might have a whole live about this. So I just want to tell you a couple of the cliff notes real quick. The first thing is this. Shout out to Dude. He watches the platform. Shout out to Dude. That's one. At first, I thought he was a fake because he contacted me on the I Am Jack Frost, not on the BBN. So I don't know how he contacted me on the I Am Jack Frost. Also, the only reason why I believe that this is, or because I got to say all of this, so you know why I was talking to whoever I was talking to. The main reason why I believe that the individual is who he say he is because I looked at his Instagram. Wow, I just accidentally called him again. Sheesh, that was an accident. I looked at his Instagram, and it is the guy from court. So he hasn't. I'm not going to show y'all the Instagram, and so you can't. But you can see it is him. So this is the person. Just so we can be clear, he was the jurist. I remember seeing him. February 2023 is his last post. Is his first post on here. October 9th, 2021. Is the first post that was on here. So he probably erased a lot of posts, but it's an old account and it has a similar face on it. So boom. So I know. So I feel it's the guy, right? So I was literally talking to one of the jurists. So for anybody to say, how do we know it's the guys? How do you know? I was in the courtroom and I saw the guy, and then I looked at his Instagram, and his Instagram is the same person that was in the courtroom. The level of trickery that somebody would have to go through to make this happen would be like, I don't even, they would have to first in 2021 know that this guy was going to be on the jury in 2024. So all of the fortune tellings. Anyway, so real quick, I want to say a couple of things. So juror, I'm thinking, should I tell you? If I speak to another juror, I'll tell you what the numbers of the jury was. So this particular juror, I want to just point something out. He's one of the reasons why dude was found not guilty is specifically everything that I was saying. Everything that I was saying. So the next case we cover, I need to be even more careful. I mean, I'm literally only reporting what's in the courtroom. I'm not making nothing up. I'm not doing any of those things. Most of the time, I'm not even giving an opinion. As y'all all know, I don't even give opinions. So basically, remember how I told y'all they just had a shitload of cops. And they weren't even talking about whether dude actually did the murder. All they did was talk about that homeboy Alpo was murdered. Well, apparently that was an issue for the jury also. Remember how I told y'all, all they did was parade out a whole bunch of cops that was basically all saying the same thing. Apparently that was also an issue for the jury. They didn't feel like the case that the prosecution put on was this indicted or spoke about the person that was on trial. They talked about everything else that had nothing to do with pointing the finger at the defendant. I told y'all this. Also, the closing statement, and this is straight from the mouth of the individual, said it was a word salad. Said, yo, their closing statements is over these. It was a word salad. I'm not saying whether it was a guy or a girl. I just don't do women voices. So that part. So it was a bad closing statement, and the opening statement they didn't deliver on. So they basically did an opening statement where in their opening statement they said that they're not going to be able to say the defendant. Like it was just terrible. Hold on, let me look at the actual notes because I'm going off a lot of memory. So as far as the police, all of the police testifying came off as cringe. Actual words that he said. They said. Actual cringe. Said had no different. Oh. Didn't understand why all of those people were there. Didn't understand why they was bringing in so many police. And also said that they didn't need to show the bullet wounds. They didn't need to show Alpo's dead body. And before we even started talking, just so we could be clear, he was laughing his ass off. She was laughing her ass off. The person was laughing their ass off because they was talking about all the people on social media talking about Alpo still alive. I'm not laughing at the guy being passed away, just so we can be clear. But one of the first things that the person said to me was they found it absolutely crazy that you got all of these widows on line talking about Alpo still alive. So just so we could be clear, this person has been watching Alpo content from other people. they're talking about it. I stopped talking about it. I don't know if they're still talking about it or not. But after hearing them talk about it, decided that the best person for him to come disseminate information to was me. I'm not even talking about it no more. Them niggas is weirdos. Talking about Alpo still alive. Niggas like, yo, they's doing all the conspiracy because they don't have any content. So the only thing they could do is lie to you. That's what's happening. There's not a thing that they could talk to you about cohesively. You understand? So the only thing they could do is make up things and come with imagination. That's it. All they could do is talk about conspiracies. That's it. Make up things. That's it. So I found that funny. He said the lead prosecutor. I don't want to say that. Basically, the jury did not like the lead prosecutor for the most part. They didn't really care for her. They didn't like the way she talked. They felt like she talked down to them. She would be explaining things and talking about it like they're children, like they don't have a comprehension of the English language. You know, talking to them like they stupid. So that was an issue. They said that the defense attorney, Aaron Darcy, was extremely competent. The other dude, I can't, his name, I lost it. But Aaron Darcy, the defense attorney, they said she was extremely competent. Just all of the green flags, just cheering. Like this was, she did a great job. Sometimes just being likable is the win. She's doing a great job. And she didn't do too much. Oh, the other guy didn't do too much. So didn't have any opinion on him too tough. But did say that when he did speak, it sounded good. When he did, do something, it sounded good. He just didn't do that much. So there's no way to really gauge, you know what I'm saying? But when he did do stuff, it was palatable. They said that the prosecution should have spent more time on the videos that they had that they were saying, that's him. They should have spent more time on the video. They should have spent less time on the CPR cops. So basically, because you wasn't in court, so I'll let you know, they had about 5 cops come up there and testify about the same exact thing that had zero to do with pointing the finger at the defendant. It could have been more than 5 cops, by the way. I'm just trying to err on the side of caution. They had at least 5 cops come up there and talk about shit that had nothing to do with whether that person is guilty or not. That was an issue. But for the most part, he said that some of the jurors she didn't say herself or himself or not, but said that some of the jurors felt like the police botched the case, not the prosecution. Felt like the police botched the case, so they wasn't, so what the prosecution had to work with wasn't that much. They didn't have that much to work with. They felt like the police botched the case. If you remember, they was missing the notes was going missing and all this other stuff was happening, and then all of a sudden they found the notes, and then the pamphlet book was missing, and they found that, and then there was some video evidence that went missing, and they found that, and then there was other video evidence they never found, and there was just a lot going on over there. You understand what I'm saying? So some of the jurors, I think what was being conveyed is that the jurors just didn't really believe the police. But since the prosecution got their information from the police, that means that the jurors don't believe the prosecution. Not that the prosecution is bad, but the evidence is, or the lack thereof. So this is the part that killed me. And just so we could be clear, I think it's right. They basically said that some jurors felt like he did the murder. The state just didn't prove their case. I'm going to say that again for the people that don't get it. Some of the jurors said that, just thinking about this, that person might have talked to somebody else. I didn't even ask them. Anyway, so some of the jurors felt that he was actually guilty, but the state didn't prove their case. And in that scenario, you are supposed to say not guilty. I'm going to say that again for the people that don't understand how the judicial process is supposed to work. It's not whether you think the guy did the crime or the woman did the crime or not. It's whether the state proves their case. The state has to prove the case. The government has to prove their case. Nothing at all to do with whether you personally think that the person is guilty or not. That has no impact on the way that you're supposed to vote, just so we can be clear. I got a lot more stuff here. I think I'm going to leave it for another time. Just want to let y'all know I spoke to one of the Alpo jurors, and very happy that the person's a fan of the page too. Salute. Hopefully we'll get an opportunity to speak to more jurors, especially that one chick. Like, they had this one chick that was in there, like 3 chicks in there that was attractive. Don't get it confused. But they had this one chick in there, and I'm telling you right now, white girl too. Well, they had this, all of the girls was nice looking. I just don't want it to sound like I'm saying one was nice looking more than the others. Just some things work for your preference, and the way her body shape was work for my preferences. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I'm a really big body shape guy. I don't want the bottom to be too big. I like a nice svelte. I know I'm using the word right. I know I'm using the word right. Svelte. Svelte. Sheesh, I'm gonna have to. I can't. It's not gonna pick up my. I'm not saying the word right. It's SVELTE. Svelte. Slender and elegant. Svelte. I'm gonna put the word up on the screen so y'all can see it. I know I'm just bullshitting at this point. Appreciate you, Lyric. Put it up on the screen. Having vocabulary every day. Having English class. Yeah, so I like them a little bit more svelte. Obviously there needs to be some curvations on the butt. The buttocks need to have some curvation on it. Just be honest about that. You got to have a little bit of curvation on the buttocks. But I like females a little bit more svelte. I think sometimes, and I just want to say this, and this is not a knock because everybody has their own preferences. But I'm not really one of those dudes that want some chick with the biggest booty. I'm not. That's not me. I'm not the guy that want the chick with the biggest boobs. That's not me. I just want you to look proportionate and to have a nice smile. That's it. Just look proportionate and have a nice smile. That's it. Like, that's literally it. That's literally it. Look proportionate and have a nice smile. You don't have to have the fattest butt. You don't have to have the biggest titties. You don't have to have, obviously I need to think that you're attractive, obviously. But yeah, that's why, I try not to talk about the BBL situation because more times than not, I am not on the side of BBLs. But that might be more because most women that get it overdo it. But I guess if you just I think most women that get BBLs just overdo it. That for the most part, I think they overdo it. They should probably get like a C butt, but they go get like a D butt or a G butt. Like like that's our cups. It's like A's cup, C cup, A cup, B cup, C cup. They might already have like a B booty, and they like, we want to upgrade, but their legs only work for like a C booty, but they'll go get like the Q booty. So I think that's my biggest issue with BBLs more than anything else. I think that's my biggest issue. But if you want to have a BBL, go get one. What the fuck do I get? If I'm dating you, I'm probably gonna say don't do it. But I'm not dating you. Go get a BBL. Get your boobs done too. What the hell do I care? Get your boobs done, your lips done. You get the wrinkles out your forehead. That I could probably, if I became an actor, they might have to be like, you got to Botox here. But yeah, go get or whatever you want to go get. Go get. What the hell do I care? You want to cut your penis off and make a vagina out of it? What the hell do I care, fam? This is between you and the lifestyle that you choosing. I don't care about none of this. None of it. Zero of it. Yeah, I don't really care. That's what I keep trying to tell you. I don't really care about that stuff. That's why I think that's why I have all the problems with the homosexual people, because I don't actually dislike them. I don't really care about what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think sometimes they take that as he might be ready to get down with. I am not. Just so we can, I am absolutely not. And I'm gonna take any type of man trying to sleep with me as an act of aggression. Like, you want to kill me, basically. You want me to go to hell. That's how I'm gonna take it. 100% of the time. I'm never going to be flattered. And that's hard because you don't want to just be walking around treating people like shit. You understand what I'm saying? But it's kind of difficult when, if I'm nice to you, then now you're going to think I might go do gay stuff with you. So that makes it a little bit harder to be nice to people who are obviously gay, because I don't want them to I don't want them, we're not doing that. That's another reason I wanted to say this too. That's another reason why I don't actively really pursue women anymore, because I know how it feels to have somebody try to pursue you that it would never happen. You understand what I'm saying? That the act of them pursuing you is upsetting. I know how that feels. So that's why I don't really pursue women anymore, to be honest with you, because of gay people. And because I know how that feels, I don't never want a woman to feel that way. Whether it's from me or whether it's from somebody else, I don't never want a woman to feel that way. I don't ever want nobody to feel that way. So a lot of times people be thinking, I'd be like, Tim, nah, as soon as you give me any energy like you're not interested, I'm just going to believe you. That's it. Any energy. And I'm going to believe you today. I'm going to believe you tomorrow. I'm going to believe you the day after that. I'm going to believe you 100 years from now. I'm going to believe you 1,000,000 years from now. I'm going to believe you 100 lifetimes from now. I'm just going to believe you 100% of the time. There is no instance where I'm going to say that person might be joking, because I've had gay people do that to me, where I just try to be so nice and kind and polite and be like, this is not what I'm into, fam. I need you to just back up. And then they be like, oh, he must want me to try harder. Nah, fam. I've had to put hands on gay people before for trying to have sex with me. So I just want to avoid those situations. I don't want to hurt nobody, and I don't want to be hurt. Anyway, I think we're about to get up out of here. Anything y'all guys want to ask or talk about? At all. We got to start doing next month. By October, the live should be back at night. But I do want to say something. So the majority of the people who donate because I do get donations still. A majority of the people, when I say majority, I mean like 95% of the people that donate to this platform watch at night. So we're going to have to bring back the Tonight Show sooner than I wanted to. I didn't want to bring the Tonight Show back until probably mid-October, early November. But we might have to bring the Tonight Show back sooner than that because the people who actually are helping to fund my life, they really want the Tonight Show. So we're gonna have to figure that out. We're gonna have to start doing the Tonight Show at night. I've been preparing myself. What the fuck? I've been preparing myself, uh, you know, to be able to do that, just so we could be clear. I have been preparing myself. I have been preparing myself and well. I have been preparing myself and well. So we'll bring back the Tonight Show soon. I don't most of my supporters, sponsors, whatever you want to call them, they watch at night. So we gotta bring it back. So I don't know if I don't know. I'm gonna see how I feel. I might not do I gotta see how I feel. Yeah, we gotta bring the Tonight Show back. I think my main reason for not wanting to do the Tonight Show is because of the lack of supportive comments and the proliferation of negative comments that comes through. So I just get the impression like the only people that watch at night, for the most part, are the people that just hate me. And so why would I do anything that's going to benefit their life? That don't make sense. Why would I do anything that's going to benefit their life? So that's generally why we don't do Tonight Show. I'd rather just sleep well, you know. And if I'm not being aggravated for a 2 hours straight by weirdos, I sleep a lot better. So I've been sleeping really well. So we'll figure it out though. Even if I have to just pre-tape it, because nobody's gonna comment anyway, right? Nobody's gonna really comment. There's not gonna be no comments for me to respond to. So I might just pre-tape them and then play them, and then if people start commenting, then maybe we do an actual live. So I don't know. That's what I've been messing around with. That's what I've been thinking about. With that being said, I love y'all. I want everyone to have a blessed day. Go out there in the world. We have to be cognizant of the fact that there are a lot of people, evil people alive. Like there are a lot of people that are just evil. They don't have nothing else going on. They're just evil. There's a lot. Instagram trying to make me smile. She is a artist. I think she writes for a lot of people. Super pretty. She's super pretty. I think she's always showing her butt because she has a nice butt, but I think she's prettier than her butt is nice. She's a really nice butt, but I think she's prettier than her butt is nice. Just my opinion. So yeah. I'm about to let y'all go. Everybody, just there's a lot of evil people out here in the world, fam. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince people that he didn't exist. There are a lot of evil people out here, and they're working closer with Satan than you could ever imagine. They have no other purpose. There's so many evil people in the world now that I actively think that people are choosing hell. Like they're like actively choosing to go to hell. Like they know they're gonna go to hell. There's no question about it. They know that they're terrible people. They know the things that they're doing. There's no way God is gonna ever allow for them to be in his grace. I think those are the majority of the people that have issues with me. So I think we're actively living in a time, and there's been many times like this in the existence of the world, obviously. But I think we're 100% living in a time right now where, Satan has such a grip on people that anything at all that is not abominable is attacked. Anything, it is what it is. With that being said, I love y'all. Everybody go out there, have a beautiful day today. Go do something worth doing. And then stamp God's name on it. And let people know that you come in the name of God. It's not weak to love our Lord and Savior. It's not weak to love Jesus. It's not weak to love God. It's not weak. Like, comment, subscribe. Join the notification game. # Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one.
Hey! It's the noon train on time?
Supposed to be.